Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and today I have another episode of Field Tests. This is a series where you, the viewer, choose a weapon setup that you would like me to try in an upcoming episode. I pick from the top 3 most thumbs up comments, and then put one of them through its paces. Essentially what we're doing here is to choose a weapon setup that you would like me to try, and then I will give my humble opinion on it, why I liked it, why I disliked it, how you could improve upon it, and all that kind of stuff. And for today, JMFPS recommends that I try out the JNG-90 with the straight bull pult and the 8x, 12x, or 7x optic zoom scope. For today's video, I went with the 12x, and the reasoning behind this is because that is the standard scope I pretty much use on all of my bolt-action rifles, and if you are a newer player, or if you're a player that is just starting to get used to the recon class, I highly recommend that you don't switch between the scopes and the different optics, because when you do that, it's going to screw up your accuracy, and you don't have to learn from the ground up when you are using the weapon, but it just makes it a lot harder for you to stay consistent with the gun, and really just to improve your game. So I'm going to stick with my handy dandy 12x, and for the most part, it suited this weapon very well. So overall, the JNG is a really fun bolt-action rifle. I had an absolute blast using it, but to be honest, I have a blast using all of the bolt-action rifles. I think they're all a lot of fun, but the reason why that is because they're all very similar. Their stats are almost identical. Sure, DICE tweaks them a little bit, and they may handle slightly different, but really, just, overall, they are all pretty much identical, and the JNG is no different. And I don't really blame DICE for this, because it's going to be difficult for them to make a bolt-action rifle feel different from all of the others, because that's basically, they're a bolt-action rifle. All they do is shoot one round and kill people with a headshot at long range. That's what they do. So, I mean, I guess I can't blame DICE, but the JNG is no different in this regard. The one thing going for it, I would say, that distinguishes itself from the other weapons is that it has a higher bolt velocity than all of the other bolt-action rifles that have 10 rounds in its magazine. The M98B still has the fastest bullet velocity in the game with 650 meters per second, which I think is a good thing because it only has 5 rounds in its magazine, and that pretty much, in my eyes, makes it the most unique bolt-action rifle in the game. But with regards to the JNG, it's nice that it has a faster bullet velocity than all the others, because it's going to allow you to, you're not going to have to lead your target as much, and if someone is way off in the distance, you're not going to have to compensate for as much bullet drop, which is really nice. And if you're a player who likes to go for long-range shots, this might be your weapon of choice. As for the weapon's rounds per minute, it's very average. It's not the best, but it's not the worst, so I guess that's an okay aspect of the weapon. It also shares the same damage model of all of the other bolt-action rifles except for the M98B, and it does 80 damage up close or 59 damage at long range. And you're also going to get that one shot, one kill if you go for the upper chest body shot, just like all the other bolt-action rifles. But probably one of the coolest aspects about this weapon has nothing to do with its statistics or the way it performs on the battlefield, but it's the way it looks. I think it looks awesome. It looks like a very menacing weapon. It also has a nice camo or texture to it, which I like to look at, and it just looks really cool. And so because this weapon doesn't really have a, doesn't distinguish itself crazily from all the other guns, I kind of am leaning towards this one because it just looks awesome. And if I'm going to use one of these bolt-action rifle for hours and hours, why not have one that just looks just like a beast? So I really like that about this weapon. One thing I have noticed since the most recent patch, and this is true for all of the bolt-action rifles, is that the suppression effect has been significantly nerfed, and I think that's a good thing, but I'm still running into a lot of situations with the JNG and all of the bolt-action rifles where if I'm slightly suppressed, I will still miss even if I'm lining up the headshot. And I think that's kind of a poor game mechanic for the bolt-action rifles. And the reason why I think this is because they solely rely on accuracy and lining up a shot. If you miss the shot, you're going to die in a lot of circumstances. You don't get a second chance. Or if you do get a second chance, they're probably going to either, get behind cover so you can't kill them, or they're just going to take you out after that second shot. So it's very frustrating when you think that, or that you lined up that shot, but just because you were suppressed, you die, or you weren't able to get the kill. And so, in my opinion, I would love to see that DICE change the game mechanics so that if you are using a bolt-action rifle, you're no longer you're no longer affected by the suppression effect, or it's severely reduced. Sure, you can have the shaking of the screen or the fuzzy screen when you are suppressed, but don't reduce the weapon's accuracy for these weapons. I mean, that is what makes these weapons unique and special. And if you do reduce their accuracy, you effectively reduce the effectiveness of this gun a lot more than if you were using one of the assault rifles or the submachine guns. So like I said, I would love to have them reduce the accuracy penalty for the suppression effect only for the bolt-action rifles. I really think it would increase and make these weapons more effective. But I would love to hear what you guys think about this idea. Let me know in the comments section below. Overall, the JNG is a really fun bolt-action rifle. It looks like a beast, and that's probably one of my favorite aspects of it. It does have a faster bullet velocity than all of the other bolt-action rifles that have 10 rounds in its magazine, so that is probably the best thing going for it. But like I said, it's a bolt-action rifle, and you're really not going to see that much of a difference. But that's it for today's field test, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, or you just want to support my channel, I always appreciate it when you give my videos a rating. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more videos. But until next time, guys, have a good one, and take it easy.